Hi guys, how's it going? Ivano here, and today I want to talk about how to deal with toxic people in PvP. And first of all, of course, when we talk about toxicity, we have to talk a little bit about, let's say, the different forms that you can experience toxicity, what is it and what is it not. So if you've watched my videos and maybe also the stream, you will probably have seen some examples of that. So this could be insults in chat, it could be people spamming emotes, it could be people dropping flags on you after you die. Could also be like even refusing to play. I had some people, healers on my team, that simply refused to heal me. So yeah, many different forms of toxicity. What I personally don't consider toxic is what some people refer to as tunneling. So if, let's say, 3 players on the enemy team only hit me, I personally don't think that's toxic. That's just PvP, even if maybe it's personal in some cases. If you sign up for PvP, then you also agree to be targeted. And it might just be a viable strategy for the enemy to focus you because maybe you're the most experienced player on your team or the biggest threat, right? So tunneling for me is not toxicity, but all of these other things. And of course, many more examples of toxic people certainly exist in PvP. So how do you deal with them? And that one involves the question, why are people toxic? Well, there's many different reasons. I think what most of them want is simply to make you mad, to get a reaction, and then they can never laugh about it. It's like sort of what maybe small children do. If any of you have like younger siblings, this is typically how these kind of people behave. Some people, of course, also just generally enjoy the drama. And it may be because, you know, they are mad or something, because you pulled them into a fire trap, or because you killed them 20 times in a war zone and that kind of hurt their ego. But whatever the reason, this is usually when we see various forms of toxicity happening in PvP. But actually, the worst form of toxicity comes from the objective players, when you refuse to play the objectives and just deathmatch in mid. So yeah, many different sources of toxicity, but how do you deal with it? Well, I would say there's basically 3 main ways. First one would be you can simply ignore it, because at the end of the day, it is a video game and it's not real life. So the worst that these toxic people can do to you is call you bad words or maybe even ruin your game. And while that's not nice, it's still better than getting punched in the face in real life. And no matter what people tell you, words are just words, and words are not violence. Of course, in real life, you don't always have the option to ignore an idiot that might take your silence as weakness and proceed to physically assault you. But in a video game, you can simply decide to not give a fuck. And so this is also what I recommend for most people. There is a wonderful legacy ignore feature in the game. And if you use that, that means you will not have to see any messages or emotes from that person ever again. I believe you will also not get matched into the same group finder flashpoints, for example, with them. Unfortunately, that doesn't work for PvP. You'll still get into the same matches with these people, and they might still target you. But if the messages disturb you, you can simply turn off your chat or legacy ignore them. And it means they cannot whisper you, and you will not read their messages on any of your characters. A second and slightly more advanced move is when someone insults you, simply agree with them and be nice. So, for example, someone kills you in a war zone and proceeds to call you a bot in PvP chat. Simply type back, yeah, you played well, or even you're too good, or well done mate, you got me there, something like this, right? The important thing is that you can control your emotions, so don't get mad. And even if you do get mad, don't give them the reaction that they want, don't give them the satisfaction, simply type something polite back. And the interesting thing is that they will usually stop insulting you, or if they don't, they just kind of clown themselves, to be honest. Because imagine this also in real life. Someone is complimenting you and you just keep being a dick to them over and over again. Then what will happen in most cases is that, yeah, like I said, you just kind of seem like a dick, and people will lose respect for someone like that pretty quickly. And in a small community like this one, that is also a great way to put a target over your head as, the toxic player. And then the next time that guy is Q and maybe runs into another premate, he might not have such a fun game himself. So stay calm, be kind, and have a sense of humor. That's advice number 2. Now that being said, this doesn't always work because, yeah, some guys just don't really give a shit and keep talking trash to you anyway. I found that is mostly kids with low self-esteem or people that are just angry in general in real life and usually have a pretty sad life. So in that case, you can either use method number 1 and simply ignore them, or you can use it to your advantage. Because people like that will usually just target mark you and then chase you all game long. But these types are normally not smart enough or don't have the self-discipline to realize when they are being baited. So you can lead them into, making a mistake. For example, kite them away from the healer or the tank, then stun them behind a pillar and one-shot them. APPT is really good at this, but of course the snipers as well. You can knock them out of guard range and then one-shot them with NG or something like this. And against certain individuals, this even works multiple times, because every time you outplay them, they get angrier and angrier. And of course that clouds their sense of judgment. So this is my little guide on how to deal with toxic players. Most importantly, of course, stay positive yourself. Remember, it's a video game. You're playing it to have fun. And as long as you're doing that, then all is good. So that's all I have for today, guys. Hopefully you enjoyed this one. If you did, of course, as always, please remember to leave it a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel, and I'll see you guys tomorrow.